Now on 767 News, several injured and others hospitalized following vehicular accident. Mother of 7 received new home after years of living in unfavorable conditions. And abuse of the elderly, a top concern for the Dominica Council on Aging. In sports, Signman All-Stars emerged champions of DFA's Division 1 League. Welcome to a new week of 767 News with me, Alicia George. Join us on Dominica's #1 news source after this break for the latest stories and developments happening across the island.
Introducing the Ashley Collection at Quartz. Quartz has joined with Ashley Furniture, the #1 selling home furnishings brand in America, to bring you the most extraordinary furniture selection at unbeatable prices. It's now easier than ever before to find that perfect furniture piece for your home. And what's more, you can add that special touch with the right accent piece from our range of designer accessories from Ashley. Create the perfect look for your home with the Ashley Collection at Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home. Visit the new Ashley Gallery at our Roseau store.
Welcome back. We begin tonight's newscast with news of what may be considered the most serious accident of 2015 thus far. It was earlier today when 3 vehicles traveling on the E.O. Leblanc Highway collided with each other, causing a major disturbance. Larry LaRocque has the details.
Numerous individuals were rushed to the Princess Margaret Hospital following a 3-vehicle accident on the Kenfield Highway shortly before 12 p.m. Take a listen at how the incident occurred.
Mau bus driver Dalton Shillingford said, had it not been for his swift reflex in avoiding a direct hit, the outcome would have been worse.
My girlfriend and 2 other passengers was going down under the cliff, heading towards Mau. And when I was up to step out under the cliff, I see a orange Jeep coming up on my side, and the only thing I could have done is try to graze the seawall to avoid my front hitting. Because on that, I'm the one who would get the first hit. So and I end up hitting my side of my back part on my side of my bus, and end up another bus was following me backwards at the back of me, and he collided the other bus right after me.
Shillingford said the driver of the Honda CR-V registration number PJ477 at the time of the incident was driving on the wrong side of the road at a high speed.
One time I saw him coming up on the wrong side. So I asked my passengers to watch it. And that's all I could have said, watch it. And I pulled to the closest part of the wall I could have found to avoid my front. And he ended up hitting the side of my bus. It looked like something was going wrong with the guy. All I see is the vehicle on the top speed coming up. Yes, darling. Top speed coming up. And all I could have done, I tell you, is head to the seawall and give him the side of my bus.
Were any of your passengers injured?
No, no, minor shock. Shock.
So you say, had it not been for your evasive maneuvers, it could have been...
I'll be a dead man. To be honest, I'll get the full hit of the bus, because that slowed him down a little bit.
Shillingford said, following the collision, he immediately went to the assistance of the passengers of the second bus involved in the incident, who were crying out for help. Meanwhile, Rufan Didier, who was a passenger on the Nissan Irvan bus registration number HB905, being driven by Shillingford, said the only reason she is alive is because God was watching over her.
We were going on the road to Maho. When we look, we see a gold Jeep coming head on to us, head on. So when he tell me, I was at the front of the bus, he tell me, watch it. When I hold my head, I hear, bow. He was all the way on the white line, this bus. When we hear bow, we look, I said, but the Jeep turned over. Then when we run out, he hit the bus. And then he end up on this side. You understand? But he was coming full speed, not at the back of him, not racing, but he's on this side. He wasn't on his side to talk, he was on this side of the road when he hit the bus.
How did you brace yourself for it?
Well, Sweetheart, I saw it right, and I say I did. Believe me. How I see it, I say I did. But the bus driver do such a fast reflection, he end up on this side. When he end up on this side, he shift his bottom so that he get the lift there. Because if he had come straight on us, right now he's not stick or thing, he's dead. He's dead, we would be dead.
Didier said the other 3 passengers on the bus were not injured. However, they were all traumatized by the incident. Several passengers who were on board the Toyota Hiace bus registration number HE576 were injured as a result of the accident, were transported to the Princess Margaret Hospital for medical attention. Fire and ambulance personnel utilized the jaws of life, a hydraulic tool used to cut and expand metal during serious vehicular accidents, to free the pin driver of the Toyota Hiace bus and the driver of the Honda CR-V. The incident, which attracted a large crowd of curious onlookers, caused a major backlog of traffic under the Kenfield Cliff. Police officers from the traffic department immediately responded to the incident and performed the necessary checks vital for the investigation.
Larry Larrock reporting for 767 News.
Thank you, Larry, for that report. There are so many people in need with just a few Samaritans who will help. Take 42-year-old June Richards, for example. Last Sunday, she received the keys to her brand new home after 3 years of living in a deplorable wooden structure. For several months, members of the Paybush Village Council, the Seeds of Life Ministry, and villagers sought funds to construct a new home for Richards, who has been wheelchair-bound after an incident which left her paralyzed from the waist down and unable to take care of her 7 children.
From after I make the twin, and they left pissing their stable within me in the hospital, and then couple months after they took it off, I felt myself can't keep my balance. As time goes by, things get worse.
Richards lived in this one-room structure while her children stayed with other families. There were heart-wrenching times when she was unable to provide for her 7 children, aged 21, 19, 18, 16, twin girls at age 10, and an 8-year-old.
Look what I have. I'll give them something. I would have to send them to school without no lunch, no meal. And the teachers would provide something for me. Most time they would stay the whole day without eating anything.
One of Richard's children, side of a twin 10-year-old Jessica, told 767 News her family's condition did not bring her spirits down.
When you lived in the old place or you used to live with other people and you used to go to school, did you feel bad or did you feel like, not proud of yourself?
No.
No? You felt proud of yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, did anybody, was there anybody that encouraged you and tell you, it's okay, that things will get better?
Yeah.
Who?
My mommy.
Your mommy, what did she tell you?
She told me, just now our house will build and God will provide for us.
Okay.
Donations and financial assistance poured out from across the country, with businesses such as Quartz Dominica, Digicel Play, and Paris Stewart making contributions, as well as financial assistance provided by the government of Dominica. Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, who was present at the handing over ceremony, pledged an additional $700 monthly to Richards. Special commendation goes out to Dayton Baptist, Seeds of Life Ministry, the Paybush Village Council, Care of the Elderly, Silver Lining Car Rental, Honorable Rosalind Paul, Ross University, Pastor Xavier Foster, and many more, who reminded us all that when we give to the poor, we lend unto the Lord. In other stories, the Ministry of Health, through its primary healthcare services from April 25th to May 2nd, 2015, began observing Vaccination Week of the Americas, VWA, under the slogan, Boost Your Power, Get Vaccinated. The main messages around the slogan is to reinforce the idea that vaccines boost the immune system and helps the body fight against more than 20 preventable diseases. This year also marks the 4th celebration of World Immunization Week, WIW, the global framework for Vaccination Week initiatives in all 6 regions of the World Health Organization, WHO. The overarching objectives of Vaccination Week are to advance equity and improve access to vaccination for people of all ages through outreach to underserved and marginalized communities, to increase vaccination coverage, to raise awareness on how immunization saves lives, and to keep the topic on the political agenda. It also focuses on promoting the transition from child to family immunization and to serve as a platform for integrated activities. In Dominica, activities for this year's observance of Vaccination Week of the Americas will focus on the introduction of the new inactivated polio vaccine, IPV vaccine. All health districts are expected to coordinate activities to commemorate the event. Immunization corners will be managed and health education sessions will be organized at the various health centers island-wide. Several more district activities are carded for the week. 767 News will bring you more Vaccination Week activities during the week's newscast. And the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has emphasized on the public's responsibility towards the less fortunate in our society. It was during the handing-over ceremony of a house to an underprivileged woman in Marigot on Sunday where the Prime Minister reminded all present of their responsibility as Christians and citizens of Dominica. Prime Minister Skerrit said, "We have to guard against very seriously that we do not become part of the developed world where the culture of individualism and self sets aside the culture of community."
You may not have children in school, but it is your duty to ensure that the neighbor's children learn. You cannot say, well, I have no children, so it doesn't matter with me. Because when we have these children who are dropouts and they're idle and they get to the law, they're going to break open your homes. They're going to make life miserable for you. So whatever we can do to the least of our brothers or sisters, we should do it because we're doing it for a greater good, because we recognize our greater responsibility.
The Dominica Labour Party leader strongly denounced anyone who is against the work of his administration as it relates to assisting the poor and underprivileged.
How can we say we are a Christian nation when we take great offense and objection to the government assisting the poor people? I say to the poor people of Dominica, to less fortunate, that what I do for you has absolutely nothing to do with politics. It is about my own conviction that we have a duty to help the less fortunate. And when God places you in positions, you have to use those positions to help people, not to bring them down, but to help them go to another level. And I think if all of us at our level recognize that solemn responsibility, our society would be a more just, our society would be a more caring, and our society would be a more prosperous society.
Prime Minister Skerrit put out a call to every citizen not to allow worldly differences to divide them from recognizing their common responsibility to those in need. Up next, care for the elderly with a focus on building a framework for best practices, and the Fortney Road reopened. More details when 767 News returns.
Count your Thursdays and win up to $24,000 in cash. For every $9 spent on Big 4, you get a raffle ticket to enter our weekly draws to win $4,000 cash every Thursday for 6 weeks. The more you spend, the more tickets you get, the better your chances of winning every Thursday. That's $24,000 in cash. So play Big 4, count your Thursdays and win up to $24,000 in cash. Only from the Dominica National Lottery. Promotion starts from February 24th to April 2nd.
Thanks for staying with us. The Dominica Council on Aging, DCOA, in collaboration with the Association Martiniquaise pour la Promotion et l'Insertion de l'Âge d'Or, AMDOR, today Monday organized a seminar for managers, supervisors and key personnel who look after the welfare of older persons. The seminar was organized with the hope that all stakeholders involved would assist in making headway to build a framework for best practices at their individual residential institutions. Zetma Tuser, president of the DCOA, highlighted that abuse of the elderly is among one of the top concerns for the council.
There are a number of issues facing the elderly in Dominica, and one of which is the abuse of the elderly. And we decided as an organization caring for and looking out and advocating on behalf of elderly to take on abuse this year as our main focus.
So far, the DCOA has held 2 training programs with assistance from Franz Remy, director of AMDO in Martinique, to address concerns such as abuse and neglect of older persons. Toussaint noted that the days when most elderly persons were cared for at home and cared for properly are sadly behind us due to societal factors which have affected the family.
At that time, the family was more the type of extended type of family. Now we have more nuclear type of families. We have a lot of migration taking place, leaving sometimes the older persons out there to fend on their own. That makes them very vulnerable to abuse. Even when they are taken to residential homes, that still does not mean that they are not vulnerable. They are still vulnerable.
The DCOA president said the council would like to ensure that the standards set at residential institutions are beneficial to its residents. Meantime, Honorable Catherine Daniel, Minister for Social Services, Family and Gender Affairs, commended the DCOA for organizing the seminar and noted that the government's mandate to care for the elderly has been manageable through advocacy from the council. The minister expressed concern with an upsurge in the number of senior citizens care institutions being established on island, as she fears that facilities may be seen as replacements for family involvement.
Caring for the elderly, however, requires specific skills and knowledge, and that's why I'm a little concerned about the pop-up of those homes. I'm really concerned about that. So the question must be asked, as caregivers, are we adequately prepared to provide this care?
Minister Daniel called for the involvement of all stakeholders in caring for the elderly, including the Planning Authority. Additionally, the minister reaffirmed the government's commitment in strengthening social safety nets for the benefit of the elderly. In more stories, several roads were severely damaged following the passage of a trough system in 2013. The main road leading to the community of Fortney were one of the roads in the system's path. To this end, the government of Dominica embarked upon a flood mitigation project in that area. Larry LaRocque took us on scene with a report of the completion.
After just over a month of flood mitigation works, the Fortney Road was officially opened on Saturday, April 25th to the public.
Last week, Minister for Public Works and Ports, Honorable Ian Pinard, reported that the Fortney Road would in a matter of days be reopened in light of ongoing work on the Fortney Box Culvert Crossing project, part of the government's flood mitigation project. The project was launched following flood damage suffered to mainly the southern part of the country during the December 2013 trough system.
Costing us over $500,000 to do the retaining wall and the box culvert crossing, and also another uncovered box drain project. So there's 2 projects. One is at $408,000, which is the retaining wall and the box culvert, and the other one, the uncovered box drain, is $103,000.
The project included the demolition and reconstruction of an 8-meter box culvert crossing, construction of a 12-meter retaining wall for slope stabilization, and the demolition and construction of a 4-meter culvert crossing and resurfacing of a drain with 40 meters of BRC concrete. There is also the construction of a 134 meters of open reinforced concrete box drain.
So we're really happy with that project, and we think that in any heavy rains or any storm, we think that that area there will be secure and safe.
Although the road has been reopened, work will continue for the completion and extension of the open concrete box drain. The heavy rains associated with the December 24, 2013 trough system resulted in flooding, damage to retaining structures, and blockage of the road near the Fortney Junction.
Larry LaRocque reporting for 767 News.
Thanks, Larry, for that report. In more news, Digicel Dominica on Friday announced the appointment of Stuart Jose as its new country manager. As the new country manager, Jose will have overall responsibility for Digicel Mobile and Digicel Play. Jose comes to the role with 12 years senior experience in the telecommunications industry from the United Kingdom, where he held various roles in a number of companies. As head of sales, he was instrumental in the building of UK-based Hutchinson's 3G network. Jose said he is delighted to be joining Digicel and is looking forward to working with the incredible team in Dominica who have built a fantastic business. He said it's an exciting time for Digicel and its customers as they continue to invest in the network and look ahead to the deployment of some fantastic new products. As Group Managing Director, he propelled A1 Comms to become one of the largest online mobile phone retailers and subsequently the fastest growing privately owned company in the UK. Jose replaces Richard Stanton, who served as Digicel Dominica's country manager for 8 years and has taken up a position elsewhere in the company. Stanton said he thoroughly enjoyed his time at Digicel Dominica's country manager as he had the opportunity to develop long-lasting personal and professional relationships. He added he is confident that with the team's support, Jose will carry the company to new levels of productivity and success and continue to serve Digicel's customers. Digicel Group Limited is a leading global telecommunications provider with operations in 33 markets across the Caribbean, Central America, and Asia and the Pacific. After 14 years of operation, total investment to date stands at over US $5 billion worldwide. The company is renowned for delivering best value, best service, and best network. And that's it for our local segment of the news. Coming up next is the latest in sports with Larry, so stay tuned.
I love family traditions, don't you? The fun you have when you're all together, preparing a meal that you'll all enjoy. Having the right kitchen appliances help bring it all together, and you can find them at Quartz. Appliances that give you more, fridges that keep food fresher, stoves that cook meals better. At Quartz, you get the world's best brands at the best prices. I love that, and you will too. For small and large kitchen appliances, Quartz, bringing value home.
Good evening and welcome to 767 Sports. In tonight's coverage, we begin with football. Sideman All-Stars are the champions of the Division 1 League as action continued in the National Leagues of the Dominica Football Association over the weekend. Public Relations Officer of the DFA, Gerald George, has the details.
Sideman All-Stars defeated Petro Caribe Point Michel 4-3 on penalty kicks on Sunday at the Dribbler playing field to be crowned champions of the Division 1 League. Sideman came from being 2 goals down to equalize the game 2-2 at the end of regulation time. Delbert Graham opened the scoring for Point Michel when he scored from the penalty spot to give his team a 1-0 advantage at the interval. In the second half, Hanif Gregoire scored a header to put Point Michel further ahead. Thompson Cochran pulled one back for Sideman, with Kimon John Baptiste getting the equalizer.
Sideman All-Stars will be promoted to the Premier Division League in the 2015-2016 season.
Meanwhile, in the All-Island League on Friday, Beyostrom edged out Cassibus 2-1 at the Baffin State playing field. Chikel St. Mary and Elijah Francois opened scored for Biosh. Cassibus goal came from a Biosh player. On Saturday, White River Ballers of Dalis and Campbell Ballers played to a 1-1 draw at the Baffin State playing field. Joel Yusef scored for Dalis, with Kazimi Benjamin scoring for Campbell Ballers. And the match between Fokole Classics and Haitian Angels at the Nitong playing field was called off due to a power outage.
In basketball, on Saturday, April 25th, the Fashcash Prowlers claimed a 12-point victory over the 8 Charles crossover in a game played at the Lindo Park Hard Court. The game proved to be a very competitive one with halftime scores 35-29. However, Prowlers managed to edge out 8 Charles crossover in each quarter, leaving the scores at 72-60 at game's end. Top performers for Fashcash Prowlers were Fitzgerald Daniel, 17 points, 2 rebounds, 1 steal. Craig St. Rose, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. And Ronald Bruno, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. Top performers for E.H. Charles crossover were Lindell Mayers, who recorded a double-double with 21 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. Sergey Joseph, 19 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. and Brandon Lazar 8 points, 2 rebounds and 1 steal. And in cricket, CARICOM and the West Indies Cricket Board WICB have agreed to establish a panel to conduct a review of the governance structure of the board. This was the key outcome of a near 5-hour-long meeting between the CARICOM Cricket Governance Committee and the directors and management of the WICB, which took place on Monday, April 20th. President of the WICB, Wycliffe Dave Cameron, led the board's team, which included the vice president, directors, as well as the chief executive officer and corporate secretary. The Cricket Governance Committee, which initiated the meeting, was established by the heads of government to review the administrative and governance structure of the WICB with a view to involving greater stakeholder participation. It comprises the Prime Minister of Grenada, Dr. the Honorable Keith Mitchell, as chairman, the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, the Honorable Gaston Brong, and the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonzalez. The CARICOM Secretary General will prepare the terms of reference for the work of the panel and submit them to the Prime Minister Mitchell, who will also consult with the President of the WICB on the matter. And that's it for tonight's Sportscast. Tune in again tomorrow for more sports.
That was Larry with the latest in sports. Now for a recap of today's headline stories. Several injured and others hospitalized following vehicular accident. Mother of 7 receives new home after years of living in unfavorable conditions, and abuse of the elderly a top concern for the Dominica Council on Aging. In sports, Signman All-Stars emerged champions of GFA's Division 1 League. And that's all for now. Until tomorrow, drop us an email at media@767news.dm. Friend us on Facebook and be sure to like our 767 News page. From all of us on the 767 News production team, I'm Alicia George, wishing you a wonderful evening and thanks for watching.